Um, Udemy is kind of a meme in that regard. I mean, Udemy is great for a lot of things. We've been slowly moving away from Udemy, mostly because the modular system we want to use, where you only buy this particular course if you want to, isn't easy to do with their system.
Well,
I
it's
think that's
impossible.
right. Uh, like,
Impossible, not easy. Yeah, same thing.
and if we want to have modular on our site and the entire thing on Udemy's site, I think that actually contravenes their terms of service.
I
Like, you
think
can't have this content cheaper elsewhere. We're not letting you. I'm not entirely sure about that, but that's what I
they
remember.
do change it lots, but
They
yes.
do change it lots. But yeah.
I will jump in, by the way. I'm working through the back catalogue as well, to a certain point in the past. But what I will be doing is I'll be going through what Jan's done and adding captions.
Mm,
So it's not available at the moment. Closed captions is not available at the moment,
no.
but actually manually done closed captions should be available um, in time, and I'm working on that in the background.
Um, yeah, I mean, there's an interesting conversation going on about Udemy, their pricing, their discount system, whether it's cheap courses or premium. I feel like I shouldn't get too involved in that, because I don't think that's very professional for me to sort of talk about another company's pricing strategy. All I can tell you is when we decided to form Canopy, we wanted our pricing to feel fair and consistent. Like, if we feel a course is worth $300, we will charge you $300. If we think it's worth $15, we'll charge you $15.
One of my biggest issues with it happens all over, and don't get me wrong, as a sales perspective, it works.
Mm,
If you feel like you're getting a $300 course discounted to $10, wow.
yeah.
But I personally, I feel that's very disingenuous when it comes to sales. We will have sales, by the way. There will be sales throughout the year at various points. Often we do one on our birthdays and things like that. So you will be able to get
Mine's in
discounted
April.
stuff. There will be discounted stuff at some point as we're going forward. So there is all that in mind, but we don't like the whole, oh, it's now $10. That doesn't make much sense to
I mean,
us.
the big thing for me, is you don't get to decide when the sales are on
Oh,
a
that's
third party
true.
platform
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Udemy. So we'd get people asking us, when's the next Udemy sale? Like, I have no idea. At least on Teachable, Teachable don't run sales. If we want to run a sale, we have to run a sale. I will point out, by the way, that this attitude that Mikey and I have, like, yeah, that's a good piece of marketing and it works, but it doesn't feel right. It's why we're good teachers, but terrible at marketing. Like, we are just bad at it because we don't want to do it. Like, I don't want to make people buy my course if they don't want to. Like, that just feels wrong.
It,
Um,
it 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 is always challenging because I know plenty of people who just don't like being sold to. The moment they're like, ah, this sounds like yes, it is a sales. They just switch off straight away.
yeah, yeah.
So
Governor, to get another topic, is there an approximate schedule for the following courses? Yes. There is an internal schedule, timetable. I forget which one is British and which one's American. Um, but it's quite malleable. The idea is to get,
I
um,
can jump in if you want
please.
because I've got a rough timetable already sorted out here. So we've not gone super distant into the future with the timetables, but at the moment, so this has been launched. That was part of the timetable that we discussed before, and let's just open up the timetable here. So yes, currently what Jan and I are working on is we're working on. You've just been working on the assets and getting all those things sorted.
Yep.
I've been working on the Dungeons Pact, which I'll switch screen and show one of the corridors I've been working on. Really love how that's turned
And I
out.
will show some of these sprite sheets in a moment too.
Yeah. And then we'll be converting the 3D assets that I've made. So Jan's got dungeon assets ready, so you can do the procedural set dungeon and everything along those lines. So we're trying to make sure that we've got assets that are final,
Mhm.
ready for being used in a course, rather than rough assets. A great example, I think we brought this up a week or 2 weeks ago, is that with Godot Getaway, we had prototype assets, and then Jan and I made the courses in at the same time. And the
Yeah.
problem with that was the assets that we ended up making weren't in the final course, which would have been amazing because the assets that we ended up making rather than using the prototype one was so much better. But anyway,
Yeah,
so
and it meant that I did the course. I was all happy with it. It was great, and then I saw what people were making. It's like, oh, I wasn't able to make that. I want.
yes, and then the next month, which is only a couple of days away, the main focus is Space Invadux, which is the second part of the Goddo for Everyone course, and the procedural dungeons. I'll be working on the actual course that is the assets, how to make the assets, and Jan will be focusing on the Goddo part of that,
Yeah.
and we'll be putting together. And at the end of all of that, there'll be an asset pack ready for you guys as well, whether or not you want it as part of the course or whether you just want it so you've got more assets to use in your own games.
Mhm.